Did you know that the person responsible for creating the villain Scorpion is none other than J. Jonah Jameson? So the story goes like this. J. Jonah Jameson hires private investigator Mac Gargan to find out how Peter Parker manages to take such good photos of Spider-Man. Of course, Peter Spider-Sense quickly alerts him that he's being followed. Before Peter can figure out who it is, Jameson comes across a news report about a deranged scientist who has been experimenting with artificial mutations in animals. As Spider-Man's loudest critic, Jameson sees this as the perfect opportunity to finally get rid of him once and for all. While searching for the right candidate for the experiment, Mac Gargan steps forward. J. Jonah Jameson presents his dangerous plan, explaining that he would be the key subject. Gargan agrees because he is the type of person who doesn't care about the risks involved as long as the payment is good. Shortly afterward, they arrive at the laboratory of Dr. Farley Stillwell, the scientist who had recently been conducting experiments in artificial animal mutations. In need of funding to purchase new equipment, Stillwell agrees to Jonah Jameson's offer. And his plan is both ambitious and dangerous, and it is to give Mac Gargan powers greater than those of Spider-Man, creating a weapon capable of finally eliminating Spider-Man once and for all. For participating in the experiment, both Dr. Stillwell and Mac Gargan are promised $10,000 each, and adjusted for the inflation, that amount would be worth approximately $100,000 today. So Dr. Farley Stillwell begins the experiment. He shaves Mac Gargan's head, gives him a special solution to drink, and starts the transformation process. Stillwell chooses the Scorpion as the source of Gargan's new abilities. However, he is deeply concerned about what this immense power might do to Gargan's mind, and Stillwell warns that granting him strengths greater than Spider-Man, by the way, could cause severe mental instability, which eventually becomes truth. So the suit was also designed by Stillwell. The most interesting part is, of course, the tail, which Scorpion is able to manipulate through involuntary nerve impulses. Basically, he controls it with mental commands. So when Spider-Man and Scorpion have their debut fight, Scorpion completely overwhelms him, because as we mentioned, he possesses even greater power than Spider-Man. Up until that point, Spider-Man had never faced an enemy with greater physical strength than his own. Now let's get back in Stillwell's lab. He runs more tests and realizes that his fears were justified. Scorpion is far stronger than he expected, and as he continues becoming stronger and stronger, that brute force slowly begins to overpower his mind as well. As Scorpion goes berserk across the city, Stillwell tracks him down and brings some kind of serum for him to take, warning that otherwise Scorpion will completely lose his sense of right and wrong. But by that point, it was already too late. As Stillwell follows him across the rooftop, he falls off the building and dies. And Scorpion doesn't give a shit, because he had already become exactly what Stillwell feared. Later, he breaks into the Daily Bugle and attacks J. Jonah Jameson, but Spider-Man intervenes and saves Jameson's ass, which is pretty ironic. During the fight, Spider-Man rips the tail off Scorpion's suit and knocks him down. Now I want you to pay attention on this thing here. This is the initial design of Scorpion's tail. I mean, what in the world is this? And I guess the answer to our confusion here is the CCA, the Comics Code Authority. It was pretty strict in the early days. Like, for example, it had guidelines like scenes of excessive violence shall be prohibited. Scenes of brutal torture, excessive and unnecessary knife and gunplay, physical agony, gory and gruesome crime shall be eliminated. All scenes of horror, excessive bloodshed, gory or gruesome crimes, depravity, lust, sadism and masochism shall not be permitted. Even scenes dealing with vampires were prohibited. In the 70s, to create the character Morbius, Marvel found a loophole and made him a scientific mutate, a pseudo-vampire rather than a supernatural monster. So under these conditions, it was basically pointless to give him a stinger, because using it would likely not be allowed. But we are going to see it in Spider-Man Brand New Day, where our friendly neighborhood hero is likely to get stung by Scorpion. Over time, the CCA guidelines became less strict and eventually became defunct in 2011. As a result of this gradual shift, we eventually saw the first appearance of Scorpion's updated suit with a stinger in 1989, about 25 years after the character's debut. So his main abilities, as they should have been from the beginning by the way, include injecting venom through his tail to cause hallucinations in his enemies. It can also spray corrosive acid, making it a deadly weapon in his arsenal. Thanks for watching, my dear variants. In July, we are going to see Michael Mando Scorpion in Brand New Day. Please share your expectations for his character in the comments. I'll see you in the next one.